So this is my son Judah, and this is when he was, I think he was turning 3. And this little Thomas the Train. Now, I don't know, how many moms do we have in here? Oh my gosh, we are like, okay, the majority of moms. I love it. I love it. One of the greatest callings that we could ever have. So this is my son Judah, and he loved this Thomas the Train. Now, he's a boy. I love being a boy mom. I also have my little girl, my little rainbow baby Eden. But he's a boy, and so he would just like to break things, right? And so any toy that he gets, he just like picks it up and drops it, okay? And he picks it up and drops it. And he plays with it, and he builds it, and he breaks things, and he just is a boy, right? And I remember getting this Thomas the Train for him for his birthday. Now, when I was shopping for toys, I tended to not get the more expensive ones because he just would pick it up and drop it, and he would pick it up and drop it. And so he would tended to just break his toys. So I didn't spend a ton of money on them. You know, after a couple weeks, they would just, you know, I'd spend $14 on something, he'd break it in like 14 days. And so I remember when I was shopping for his birthday, and I went to like the sale and the discount section, and I just remember kind of that voice of truth inside that said, go down the aisle. I'm like, okay. So I went down the aisle, and I knew he loves Thomas the Train. He watched it all the time on TV, and even when he was a baby, when we were in South Africa, we got to ride a fun little train, and we did baby sign with him, and he always loved, this is like his sign for train, and he would always do it whenever he saw a train. And this Thomas the Train was on the shelf, but it was more expensive than the typical toys that I buy him because he just, he picks them up, right? Help me out, he picks them up, right? And so I just heard that voice of truth inside that said, get the train. And I'm like, well, but he's probably just gonna break it, and I don't want to spend that much money, and then I won't be able to get him like 3 toys, I'll only be able to get him that one. And that voice of truth inside just kept saying, get the train. So we got him the train, he opened it for his birthday, he loved it, he was so excited. And then he did what he typically does with his toys. And I'm like, oh, here we go. There goes my $40 or whatever it was, instead of my $14. And 2 weeks go by, and he's still picking it up and dropping it. He's running it through the dirt, and it's still just going. He'd pick it up, he'd drop it, and it goes choo-choo. Drop it, choo-choo, right? So this little train is just like cruising along. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks go by, and it just is still like, choo-choo. Pick it up, drop it, choo-choo. Pick it up, drop it, choo-choo. A month goes by, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months now, and that little train would not break. And I remember eventually he grew out of it. And every time he would pick it up and drop it, it still had its little voice. And as we went to go donate it, as we walked into the door one last time, he picked it up, he goes, Mom, one more time, drops it. Choo-choo. I mean, it had like a little bit of a limp, you know, like a little bit janky. But we eventually donated after he grew out of it. And here, something struck me in that moment, is that the makers of that toy, they knew that one day that it was going down the assembly line, that it would one day meet a little boy like my son Judah. And that toy would be picked up and dropped, and picked up and dropped, and picked up and dropped, over and over and over. But the way that the creators of that toy made it is that it would not break. And I have a feeling that there are some of us here in this room that when we were put on the assembly line of creation, that our Creator knew that we would probably be picked up and dropped, that we would probably go through some really hard times, that we would probably come up against struggles that caused us to question everything around us. But our Creator actually knew exactly what we needed so that we wouldn't break. So that every time something hard happened, picked up, dropped, I'd get back up again. I might get picked up and dropped. I might get rejected. I'm going to get back up again. I might have a failed launch, or that room over there that's still not filled, and everything in me says that it's not enough, and that this room, that I missed my goal. We get back up. Every time there maybe someone is sick, or we go through loss, whether it's relationships, business, ideas, plans, whatever it is, everything about the way that you were created, the assembly line that you were on, you knew that there was divine providence that knew exactly what you would be going through, and that you were created the exact way that you were, to be able to carry what you carry, for your voice to still be able to speak. Yes, yes?
Yes, yes.